Good morning. Ira Epstein of Linn Associates with your morning flash update for this Friday, May 10th, 2019. And folks, I'm here. I'll be doing the end of the day video. Yesterday I had to be out of the office in the afternoon, so that's how sometimes things go. So as we're looking at these markets, and they are important, you can see the stock market's down because at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the U.S. picked up its tariffs on the remaining $200 billion of goods that were taxed at 10% tariffs up to 25%. Now, ships that left China before 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time and are en route to America will be still taxed at the 10% tariff. Anything after that time frame, 25, and those ships don't have the luxury of just staying out at sea indefinitely. They got around 2-3 week period to get to America, the normal time, and after that, watch out. Plus, the president has put the paperwork in for $325 billion worth of goods at a 25% tariff on the table. Now, the Chinese are still here talking to the U.S. Their plane time scheduled to 4 p.m. to leave. I don't know what more they're going to accomplish one way or the other. But on one hand, you have to applaud the president for staying right on his line. We'll see if the Chinese want to do anything. I read overnight as to how many companies are now moving out of China, be it Vietnam, be it Mexico, be it Cambodia, India, other areas where we can do business, where we don't have to have these type of rules of forced technology stealing and so on. So China's going to lose because once you start moving that, they don't just come rushing back in. Obviously, we lose too because in grains and so on, we're not going to get that business that we wanted until this gets resolved in some manner, and I don't know when that's going to be. But in any case, the dollar index coming under some selling pressure on this, and a bit of buying in foreign currencies. In the yen, the market is up a fraction, up 5 ticks, not going that much. I think they've built most of that in the market. And on the energy markets, well, it's pretty stable here. Now, obviously, in energies, besides world trade, you have to always concern yourself that now that we've getting our strike force with the carrier Abraham Lincoln and our B-52 bombers in place in the Middle East, that at any point anything can happen. And to make matters worse, the U.S. yesterday made it very clear, any attack on a ship, doesn't have to be Iranians that do it. Anybody that we think's affiliated, we consider an attack by Iran. So you're really taking the clock, if you will, this doomsday clock. You moved it another, at least a minute towards the doomsday time frame. Bonds and notes still getting a bid. Remember, today you've got the Uber IPO coming out. That could happen at any moment. The U.S., as I said, put these tariffs on. Good ship get that grace period to get here. The $325 billion of goods at a 25% tariff, that paperwork's begun. China has said it will retaliate, but it hasn't said what that is. By the way, trying to get goods into China, can you imagine at a port they're going to go through just what Canada went through? We don't like the product, there's something wrong. Expect all that nonsense. The U.S. CPI headline, well, the Fed's got to be watching this because their core number came in soft, up 1/10. They were expected up 2/10. The CPI itself up 3/10, and they expected 4/10. Energy, we thought would be even stronger than this. It was only up 2.9%, the prior month up 3.5%. Data today released showed that the UK first quarter GDP was up 0.5 on the quarter over quarter and up 0.2 quarter over quarter pace from the first quarter of 2018. They're actually doing well. In Canada, the jobless rate fell to 5.7 from the 5.8 seen in March, and they had forecast a 5.8. So you put it all together, and the question you have to run into yourself is, what next? Well, what about the stock market? Is this it? Has it digested enough of this? What takes time is for all of this to work through the economy. You put the tariff on today, you're not going to take those extra goods until June 1st. So the next quarters when we're going to start seeing a lot of impact from this, that's what you got to keep your mind on. Where does this take it? What does it do to the Fed? Because that, to me, is the giant in the room. And I think now you've got your worst case scenario for the Fed. You have the trade wars at hand. And I think that really puts the Fed on the back pedal. I don't see them flip-flopping back and forth to going to a rate increase right away. Our futures trading kit covers, when you get this, the charting software that I use here. It covers also a window-based software. We're talking all these different categories. And what it is a link that we send you. And when you open it on your computer, all of this opens. So the introductory to options. These exchange brochures are for the CME group. You should pay attention because the new brochures, and probably the biggest launch of all time, has just happened with these mini stock indices. So you had a mini index, now you've taken it a tenth of that size. You're already trading the first 3-4 days of the week, nearly 1.5 million to 2 million of these contracts. So they've really exploded in popularity. And then we give you the brochures, cause and effect, for understanding money principles in the markets. We have both our Arun and our pivot point access in it. And of course, you can always sign up for my research to get along with this if you haven't tried my research yet. And how this works, these are what the CME exchange brochures look like. And the beauty is there's quizzes with them. You really learn an awful lot. Now, for your beginning traders, that is something to take a look at. So how do you get all this? Well, you get it by just giving us a phone call. You can go to our website. You'll see a carousel of free offers. Sign up for anything you want on that. You can get there as well by clicking here if you're watching me on YouTube. We'll be looking at the weekly charts, as you know, come the end of the day today. And those will be important because with all that's going on, now we start looking at the longer term analysis of how this has all impacted the markets. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a great trading day, and I'll see you all this afternoon.